the branch of science which deals with the study of variation and inheritance, that is called genetics. Mendel experiment. Mendel performed certain experiment on pea plant, that is Pisum stivum. The full name of Mendel is Gregor Johann Mendel, that is also called father of genetics. He conducted experiment using several tube varieties of pea plant. He conducted artificial pollination or cross pollination using several tube breeding varieties having contrasting character. What is artificial pollination? In artificial pollination, the anther from the flower is decapitated and that is called emulsification. In this process, the removed anther is protected from contamination. That's why a bag is put on the anther. The process is called bagging. In the artificial pollination, the desired pollen from the flower is removed and sprinkled on the stigma of the second flower, which is used in pollination. That is called artificial pollination. In cross pollination, two flowers are used that are produced on different plants. In plant, first the flower produce pollen grain that are transferred from its position to the second flower that is produced on second plant. That is called cross pollination. What is contrasting character? Contrasting character are different character or traits. He observed one character at each time. What he observed in the experiment are listed, that these are the 7 traits which are observed by the Mendel in his experiment. The first is seed shape. The dominant are in round shape and the recessive trait are in wrinkle shape. Seed color, yellow or green. Yellow is the dominant color while the green color is recessive trait. The another trait is flower color, that is violet. Violet is a dominant trait and the recessive trait is white in color. Pod shape. The dominant trait is full. Pod means outer covering of pea. The recessive trait is contracted. The another character he observed is pod color. The pod color, the dominant trait in pod color is green and the recessive trait is yellow. The next trait he observed is flower position. The dominant trait is axial position and the recessive trait is terminal position. The next character he observed is stem height, that is tall. Tall character is dominant while the dwarf character is recessive. Dwarf means bona. And he hybridized plant with alternative forms for a single character. This is this hybridization is called monohybrid. Young ones produced in this generation, it is called filial one or F1 generation. Suppose he takes two parents. He takes two alternative forms of pea plant. The one is tall and the second one is dwarf. In his experiment, he takes two alternative forms of pea plant. The one is tall and the second is dwarf. In the tall plant, we represent double T capital and the double small t represent dwarf plant. If we take the gametes, if the gametes are produced by the parents, F1 generation produce in the F1 generation produced in the experiment is that is a hybrid plant. It have characters of both alternative forms. Mendel then self-pollinates plant of F1 generation and the generation which are produced after that it is called F2 generation or filial 2 generation. In self-pollination, the flower contains two parts. The first is male part which produce pollen and the second is female part which receive pollen with the help of its part called stigma, and that pollination is called self-pollination. Mendel first cross-pollinate plants with different forms having single character. These are two alternative forms of pea plant. The first is tall and the second is dwarf. They have the single character. Tall plant have tallness and the dwarf plant has dwarfness. The tall plant is represented by double T and the dwarf plant is represented by small t. These are the parent plant. If these parents produce gametes, these are the gametes which are produced by the both plants. When we cross pollinate these two plants, the hybrid produced in this cross pollination is called F1 generation. These hybrid have the character of the both parents. This hybridized plant is called monohybrid. Two alternative forms of pea plant are used for a single trait and the hybrid is produced is called monohybrid. When the Mendel self-pollinate these hybrid which are produced in F1 generation, it is called self-pollination. These are the parent plants in it. They produce two gametes. It is also produced two gametes. When these gametes are fused, they produce square is called Punnett square, and these gametes are combined with each other. This T combined with this T, double T, this T combined with this T, capital T with small t, this T combined with this T, capital T and the small t, this T combined with this T, double small t. The population which are produced in this situation, it is called F2 generation or filial 2 generation. If we see the phenotypic ratio of these population, phenotypic means the outer character which are observable. These are called phenotypic characters. This capital T, double capital T represent the tallness, a tall plant, that is tall, and this hybrid contain the characters of both parents, tall and the dwarf, and the tall is dominating over this trait or character, so the plant is produced is tall. Here this is also a hybrid which contain the character of both parent, the tall parent and the small parent, that is dwarf. So T is dominating over this T, so the plant produces tall, and this is small. So here the three are the tall and the one is small. So the phenotypic ratio is 3:1, 3 tall and 1 small. And the genotypic ratio is what is genotype? Genotype is the sum of the genes present in it. There are 3 types of genes are present in it, that is double T, TT or double T small, and the ratio is 1:2:1. This is called genotypic ratio. This is the experiment of Mendel.